Some of my clients often ask me, how do they create an effective claims management system for their employees? Well, there's really 4 points. You want to contact the appropriate authorities, find out the causes of the claims to prevent future ones from happening, and manage the claim and stay in contact with the worker and their doctor, and perform physical assessments of the job to ensure that modified duty is appropriate when they do return to work. So, appropriate authorities. In Canada, you want to contact the Workers' Compensation Board, or WCB, which provides insurance to workers. It protects them from claims costs and enhances the medical procedures so they go to the top of the line. You want to find out the causes of the claim, point number 2. And in this, you want to ensure that the causes are known, identified, corrective measures are put in place to prevent other workers from having claims as well. Now, a lot of people worry about fraudulent claims, particularly in light of layoff issues and things like that. That does happen, and if you have an effective determination of the causes, you can determine whether it happened on the job or off. If it's off the job, then the claim can be disallowed. If it's on the job, it is a claim to your account. And you want to minimize claims costs, because for every dollar you spend yourself, it is about $10 in WCB costs. So it's cheaper to spend yourself than to rely on WCB. You want to manage the claim and stay in contact with the workers and their doctors, because the doctor will allow the worker to return to work when the worker is fit and able to do so. Some doctors are still of the mindset that the worker should be off work, and you want to ensure that the doctor is aware that the sooner a worker gets back to work, the better the prognosis that they will be able to stay in the job and be effective at the job. The longer they're away from work, the more likely depression and other things factor into being on the job. Physical limitations. You want to make sure that before your workers go out on claims, that you have an effective system of assessing the physical demands of the job, which is a physical limitation assessment. And the physical demands of the job really are to determine whether, if a worker has problems lifting objects, that they're able to lift the required amounts of weights. If there's repetitive motion, that they don't have a lot of repetitive motion, that type of thing. It's called a physical demands assessment. And in that way, you will have effective claims management by ensuring that the appropriate authorities are contacted, that you manage the claim, you find out the causes of the claim, you do a physical demands analysis of your jobs, so you'll have meaningful work for your workers. You do not want the situation that arose when I worked for the public school board, where they had modified duties that consisted to them of putting an injured worker who was burned on 60 to 90% of his body, licking stamps. Some cases, it's better for a worker to get better rather than putting them to work. The work must be meaningful, it must not re-injure them, and it should be done as quickly as possible so they can be reintegrated into the workforce.